All right, I'm not going to lie, you guys are in for a treat. Today, I'm going to build a six-figure B2B email campaign live. I'm going to show you exactly how I find the right audience, how I write the copy, how I figure out positioning, and do all of the follow-ups. No fluff, no frills. I'm going to give it to you all. And so let's just let the footage roll and let's go. All right, so I just made up a product here. It's called Brand Beacon. It's an influencer ROI tracking platform. Basically, it connects brands with influencers and uses pixel tracking and discount codes to measure the exact ROI. So if an influencer puts out a video and you're a brand and you want to understand how many purchases came from it, this company will be able to help you do that. So we need to figure out first who to target. That's through their titles, company types, and figure out what their pain points are. So first thing I'll do is I'll go here, I'll take this, and I'll copy it into ChatGPT. And you always want to give ChatGPT context. So I'll say something like, you are going to help me find the right positioning for my B2B email marketing campaign. You are a sales psychologist who understands buyer and seller psychology so we can find the best pain points. Here is the product. Just copy that in there. What we need to find is, one, what companies would be interested in a tool like this that we could sell to. Two, what roles or titles could make a buying decision to purchase our tool. We'll just give it a name too. It's called Brand Beacon. And I'll just start there for now. We'll get to the pain points in a second. So we put that out there. So then we get our first output. Okay, first, ideal companies for Brand Beacon. We need companies that rely on influencer or affiliate marketing. They have enough marketing budget to care about ROI, and they're struggling with tracking. That's going to be a tougher intent to find, but I think we can find plenty of people that rely on influencer or affiliate marketing. So the top company types, and we can just kind of gut check these first. D2C brands, anybody that's advertising on TikTok Shop, this makes total sense to me. Subscription boxes are actually pretty notorious for really caring about LTV because they typically don't make any money on their first few boxes. They have to have a customer stick around. So this definitely makes sense. Beauty and cosmetic brands, they do a ton of influencers. That all makes sense there. Fitness and apparel, same thing. And then e-com brands, it gets a little bit vague here. So I like these three right here, or these top 3 or 4 right here. I think this is plenty to work with here. Then the roles to target: head of influencer marketing, VP or director of marketing, growth marketing lead manager, e-com marketing manager, and CMO and agency owner. So here's what I would actually say to this is some of these you actually already know that they can't make a buying decision. So for instance, a growth marketing lead or a manager, an e-com marketing manager, they might be able to influence the decision to buy, but they're not the ones that ultimately make the call. So what I would recommend is pushing back on this and saying, head of influencer marketing makes sense, as do VP and director and CMO. But do growth marketing lead and marketing managers get to make the buying decision? And just have them validate their thinking. If not, let's take them off the list. And can you think of any other titles? Sometimes they might be able to explain something that we may have not noticed. So let's just see. And this is kind of what I was hoping for, is obviously we're going to get the ones that we already knew were going to work, but these are some good ones that we definitely wanted to keep in. Head of brand partnerships, creator partnerships is a new one, but a director role that we might not have considered as well. These are all ones that we want to keep an eye on. So I like that. Great. Now we need to get an understanding of the buyer persona. What are they trying to fix, right? We have a solution, we know, and it probably fits here, but how are they thinking about the problem? So what we'll say, and I always like to quote the exact text. So we said, see the quoted titles. Let's dive into the buying persona for these titles. What are the issues they face regularly, day to day? What are they in charge of solving at their level? What's their mandate? Who do they report to? What do they care about fixing immediately? Please list and give a reason for each pain point with a concise description. So what they will do is they'll generate for each of the roles we talked about, what is the thing that they're running into? And we just want to review these and try to see some patterns so that we can identify what's the most important, the largest pain point. No clear ROI, wasting time on low performers, pressure to scale quickly, clunky reporting. Again, lacking attribution, can't report on ROI, worried about the budget. No clear ROI, wants the team to act like a performance engine. Clients asking for proof of influencer ROI. Manual reporting is killing their time. Hard to prove ROI on partnerships, and no clear way to track post-click behavior. So there's two things that are coming out to me the most. It looks like everybody hates that they can't track the actual ROI from the performances. So that's the first one. I'm just gonna make a note here. No clear way to track performance marketing. And then secondly is wasting time on low performing influencers. How do they get the best influencers up top? How do they know when they have influencers that aren't doing the job well? How do we... So these are good pain points to run with, so we're gonna write on these two. So here's where we're gonna go. First, we're going to copy in all of the information that we just came up with. For the simplicity of this, I'm just going to say list out the 5 most important titles that have the most swaying power to make a buying decision. So we have VP, Director, CMO, Owner, and Head of Brand. Okay, and obviously when you're putting this into an actual database and you want to get as many titles as possible, you can ask ChatGPT to get all of the different titles and all of the different combinations. But for now, we're just going to take these because this is going to be a good enough spread. I also plugged in different company type. D2C e-com is probably going to encompass the 3 below it, but we're just listing it out so we have a clear idea of exactly the type of companies we're going after. Because the problem with D2C e-com is that while it is going to encompass beauty and skincare, it's also going to get a lot of brands that we may not want to talk to. Not every fashion brand uses influencers from maybe say TikTok or Instagram. A lot do, but a lot also don't. So we're just going for best fit. So the last thing I'll ask it is, what are people doing now, right? We know what they want. We think we have a solution that fits it, but what are we replacing? We need to know where they're coming from. So I'm going to ask it a couple questions here. How are businesses tracking influencer promotions and attributing revenue today? What tools are they using? What do they wish they had? How do they know they have high quality influencers? So here's what they're doing now is they're doing discount codes, UTM links. They have a couple affiliate platforms. That's fair. But most of the time is what I suspected is spreadsheets. And this is an easy one here, right? How do they currently judge influencer quality? It's easy to fake engagement rate. People can boost these numbers. It's hard to track. Their follower count is a vanity metric because you can't always guarantee that they'll convert just because they have a high number of followers. So the strategic opportunity for us is track every click, view, and purchase without having to have a code, and then also cut out what doesn't work. Now we know who we're talking to, so we can build our list. We know the companies we want to go for, so we know which people from what companies we want to talk to. And now we need to do the pain point. So there's a couple ways to handle this. The first one is to write out 2 different angles so that you can test the different angles next to each other. So here's the first email that I wrote. Hey, first name, saw you guys are running influencer marketing campaigns. We have a dashboard that tracks influencer content posted, likes, and attributed purchases via our pixel tracking software. Can I send you a 2-minute video on it? Now, there's a couple things I did here. Number one, I added a piece about our pixel tracking software. The reason I added that is because it gives them a little bit of context. Why are you different? What do you have? How does this work? Why hasn't this been solved before? If this is a brand new product and you are really on the forefront of solving this at scale, then they might need a little something to prove that you're not just like everybody else. But the offer is key. I didn't necessarily point out the pain. I gave them the solution. I know they want this. We have a dashboard. It tracks your content posted, likes, and attributed purchases. You can clearly tell exactly what's coming in and what's coming out from your influencer marketing. And then a very seamless CTA. Can I send you a 2-minute video on it? This is going to be our no clear way to track performance marketing angle. What this means is that anybody who cares and is frustrated by the effort and the lack of tools that go into tracking influencer marketing, this is going to speak to them. They probably have wished that they had a dashboard that they could just point to. So we are plugging in what we know is the solution, attacking it from the angle, and surfacing the features that we know they want. Then the second one, they want to surface and keep good influencers. How do I know I have good influencers? Let's go back to this and let's understand a bit more about what they're using now and what they don't like about it. So right off the bat, most of the time people are tracking with discount codes and UTM links. So this is probably what we'll want to contrast ourselves with. So I'll probably write something like this. Your first name. So I'd probably say something like this. Hey, first name, our software tracks your purchases per influencer with a pixel instead of a discount code or UTM link. we can identify your highest performing influencers with a 98% accuracy. Would you like to jump on a call and discuss? So if you are someone that is sick of being unable to tell who's actually worth the influencer spend or not, and this is going to speak to them, right? This is important to them. If they are spending a massive budget on influencers, but they don't know who's worth it and who's not because all the metrics seem like vanity metrics, this is going to sound like a solve to them, especially if they're using a discount code or UTM link, because that's what most of the people in the industry are doing. So what I did is I told them first, hey, here's what we do differently. And we called out what they're doing. It's contrasting. Then we said, we can identify your highest performing influencers with a 98% accuracy. This tells them how reliable we are. Does it work? We have something that we can stand on here. Then an easy CTA. Would you like to jump on a call and discuss? Now, when it comes to email 2, I typically do some follow-up and add on a bit from what I already said. So for version A, going off of this, that we saw that they were running influencer marketing campaigns and they have a dashboard that tracks influencer content, posted likes, and attributed purchases, I would probably want to double down on this and remind them of the value prop and maybe give them another feature. So email 2 is very simple. Hey, first name, our dashboard can tell you which influencers brought in the most purchases across your entire influencer team with 98% accuracy. Can I show how it works? This is just a reminder of what we said, and they'll look at the first email, but it gives them just another nugget that they can go off of. So in the first email, we said that we have a dashboard and that we can track content, we can track posts, liked, attributed purchases. Now we're telling them, listen, what that means is that we can tell you who brought in the most purchases across your entire influencer team. That's what you care about. Remember, it sounds similar, but it's scratching 2 different itches. On the first side, they said that they were sick of not being able to track at all. Now we're presenting something related, but a little bit different. You can't track because you want to track so that you can figure out who's worth spending money on. So you're just telling them in email 2, hey, we can tell you who's worth spending money on. Now looking at email B. Hey, first name, our software tracks your purchases per influencer with a pixel instead of a discount code or UTM link. We can identify your highest performing influencers with a 98% accuracy. So we would say something like this. So we'd say something like this. Hey, first name, we help the brand decrease CAC, which is customer acquisition cost, by 30% and 2x their revenue just by cutting spend on poorly performing influencers. Can we show how it would work for you? Now, obviously, you need these metrics to be able to say them, but if you have them, you should definitely flaunt it. And you should do the digging into their numbers to get those numbers out if you think this is going to be a powerful angle. This, again, if you're a CMO and you just saw the first email, that you have a software that tracks performance and you can identify high performers. Now we're telling them the effect of that is that you can cut the low performers and decrease your cost of acquisition and double your revenue. Very powerful. The third email is really, really basic. I usually just say something like, hey, first name. Email 3 is kind of like the breakup email. So I'll say something like, hey, are you interested in lowering your CAC this quarter, right? Just being like, hey, are you interested at all in the money? Or are you interested in all in getting this problem fixed is really a better way to say it. Because if they're not interested in getting it, or maybe they're all good and they're actually doing pretty well, this isn't relevant. You don't want to keep hitting them up. And it gives them an opportunity to say, hey, listen, we're good. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people say, yeah, no, we're all good, but I'll keep this in mind. Thanks. So this is it, top to bottom. For Brand Beacon, an influencer ROI tracking platform, I just showed you how to find the titles that matter, get the company types you want to be targeting, and then surface the pain points, and then really what the pain behind the pain points is, right? No clear way to track performance marketing is really a revenue problem. They are trying to figure out how they can determine who the best performers are. Where do we spend our marketing dollars, right? That comes through just a little bit of work with ChatGPT and understanding your customer persona. Then I always write 2 versions of each, try 2 different angles, and then have follow-ups that complement the first one and the second one. And then last one is a third email. It's a breakup email. And this is usually where you stop emailing them. Very rarely I'll consider doing a 4th email, but that's basically it. This is how you'd write a campaign. And with the right product, this is going to generate you racks. This is how I build campaigns that generate hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you guys are interested in me running your campaigns for you, then simply book a call with me below. My link's in the description, and we can get this started immediately and get you scaling to the moon.